something that I want to share that God was kind of sharing with me today. To be a high priestess or to be a psychic is as much a burden as it is a gift, and that's kind of how it goes. I mean, there's times, I think, for probably every single person on the planet that we go through, that you go through winning seasons, and you go through like times where it's easier to manifest, and then you go through times where you're not dealing with warfare. But the last, pretty much since my kid has come into this world, has been very tumultuous, chaotic, intense, dramatic. And there were times in my life that I was able to manifest freely, and it was more than being an opportunist. It wasn't, I don't even think that's really the right word to describe it, because it just felt like I was in alignment all the time. It was like everything was magical, and I was pretty much doing life on my own, but I had a job, but I wasn't having to pay bills because I was in college and I was going to classes and stuff. But I went and did rock climbing club. I did a swing dance. I can't even describe it, y'all. It was just all pure magic. And, that was actually the first time I learned about meditation, because there was a kid, this is just coming to me, I needed to stay on track. There was a kid meditating in the middle of one of the walkways that all the kids that was outside that would walk down. He was just sitting there meditating. And I love stuff like that, like the way that people would have what do they call it, like a mob dance, mob. They would just break out and dance in like the library randomly and stuff, like in the freaking football games. I don't know if I could do that anymore. I used to love it, just the energy of like people being so hype and tailgating, and like the community. It's very tribal, because it's like people are like getting together and everybody's having a good time, and you're just chill and enjoying nature, and just like, I mean, there's a lot of drinking going on, so I mean, there was that too, but it was just, I loved everything about college, everything. Teaching there was fun too. Okay. To me, it's like there's young souls and old souls, and here, and like it was coming to me earlier or yesterday that it was like, it's easy to forget that even though we're a collective conscience, that is like, we're here with a divine blueprint, and we're here on individual journeys. And you definitely feel that when you're in isolation a lot more, but you get a lot of nostalgia, and you feel a lot of the pain of not having community, not having people around you. And yet at the same time, and then there's also that as well with being an empath, because we're so driven to serve that it's like, you're here. It's crazy, because it's like all of it goes together, where it's like sometimes you're just I think half the time I struggle with manifestation, because I'm like, sorry, my kids wilding in the background. Half of it's because so much of my energy is taken up with like whatever my brain I'm trying to process emotionally, or trying to let go of stuff, and then my kid as well. And then I'm also just trying to be content day to day, like keep my vibration up, keep myself happy. So I'm like, it's hard to imagine a whole other reality and then sit in that vibration. Like, I don't know. I'm working on it, and I definitely don't do it every day. But that concept is a little bit hairy to me, until and unless I had like a specific thing open up that I was like, okay, this is a thing that I need to work toward or something, and then that would give me that like outline. But because I also want to be grateful, like I want to be in gratitude more so. I don't want to that's one that just has been a struggle for me personally. But so, when you're on your own, it's like you really see how you're separate, and how we're so much on these individual journeys. And then also, like, there's just little things that hit me of like, I know that I'm supposed to be bringing in codes and like all these things, but like the fact that we live in a world that everybody is living so separately, and very much like, I don't see it as like every man for himself now, because I think a lot of that stems back to my own trust issues. But it's like my neighbors like cut their grass, and it's just, can't help but notice it, because when we passed by, and I laughed about it, because ours was like, our other neighbors are cutting our grass for us, but they're only doing it every 2 weeks. And so anyway, you can see the difference. It's just funny. Like, that's the world that we're living in. It's like you go to the grocery store and you get groceries for yourself, and everybody cuts their own lawn, and there's these little imaginary lines that we all have that like, this is my yard and stuff. And the territorial thing is like a part of who we are as well. And I think there's all parts of this that are all necessary. But, because I think the more that you're separate with God, the more that you can dive into your own blueprint and your own journey, and like what you want to embody and embrace, and like, etc. Like, you have to be able to separate yourself to do that. What else was I going to say about this? Oh yeah, because there's like young souls and old souls. So it's like, those of us who are doing psychic work, you're doing all this internal work. So it's like you're moving through this pain. It sort of feels like it's like a forest, and there's cobwebs, and there's all these things you're coming across, and you're having to like move through it, like the video. But it's inner pain that there's so much emotional to it. Like, that's, to me, is how the healing journey has gone. And then you're showing up and shining your light, but then you don't know what kind of flack you're going to get from it. And you're going to trigger people, especially the divine feminine. Like, God uses us as a weapon all the time in that way, because it's like, I always think of it like the story of Oshun, because it's like she gets neglected. She gets taken for granted. She gets sent away and taken for granted. Her energy is taken for granted. And then everyone's pleading and begging God to send her back, because everything's in disarray. And that's what so much of it is like, is as even just a woman, because it's like, it's just the way it is. It's the way this world is created, that it's like, so much of this is as a lesson, as much as we want to just enjoy it, just be peaceful and enjoyable all the time. Like, we're here to learn. Oh, that's what I was going to say, is that because being able to tap into Akashic Records, or being able to feel these other lives that I could have lived, is as much a pain and a sad and grief. There's so much grief, so much grief, as it is like a blessing. Because I'm like, okay, I just want to be okay with the reality that I'm in. Like, I just want to be content, but I have to feel into these other things to be able to, for whatever reason. Half the time I don't even know why, or it's going to pop up later and it's going to connect the dots or something like that. So, it is what it is, because it's just interesting, because I'm like, I see this girl that I've seen women posting about these bad relationships that they've been in, and I was in my relationship with my ex with Teddy's dad was toxic, but it's like it never got abusive, like it, and I'm like that, like I'm so like that with my boundaries. I'm like, I wouldn't let someone get that close to me, but I mean, I've had physical, I've had lash out moments that I was out of control too. But that's, to me, how it is. It's like, it's, even though we want to see the world as just, I think the alchemy allows us to bring heaven, allows us to create heaven, because there is so much more peace in my life now. And yet there's still these tower moments that happen, and I'm okay with that. But I had to move through all of that pain, all of that turbulence. It's like, it doesn't feel like that, but it does, because it's dense. It's very difficult. It's difficult to move through. It's difficult to sit with. And it's just funny, because when we live in a world that's like, people are trying to pop meds to like not have to feel. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, that is the human experience. Like, you have to move through the density to get to the calm. Like you can't band-aid that. Like then you're just going to stay in the chaos. So I'm grateful that we're in the space that we're in, and I still am get hit with confusion as to why, like I did that with the mind of the feminine, and it's like we just always have this why of like, why is it the way, why is it like this, or why can't I just snap my fingers to have the things that I need or something? And then the other part of me is like, I want to stay humble, because like, I think it's interesting. I'm still trying to really embrace like the dark feminine. And I mean, that's going to always be a thing, but also just like being like aggressive. Like it's so crazy because I see that now, like that's part of my gift, is because I struggled with aggression. So, and I was shamed about it. So that's now become a part of my expression now, that I'm supposed to help other people with their anger. It's because anger is boundaries were crossed, period. Like, that's something that happened where that to have rage inside of you, that boundaries were crossed, that someone took your free will, and it's coming through as anger until you're able to see it and feel it and process it and love it, so that it can feel safe again. It's just moving. I think that's why I'm moving through. I think that I was speaking out so much in the beginning on this channel, and I think that was giving me this sort of sense of feeling heard, even though it ended up biting me in the ass. And because then it was like a lot of that was used against me, and or I just wasn't alchemizing it, I guess. And I don't know, but now I think that's why it's harder, because it's like I'm actually having to feel more now, because I'm not able to speak it and be heard, yet it's forcing you to face yourself more and more and more. So, yeah, you got to feel it to heal it, as I say. So it's not the journey for everyone. And that's the other part, that being that the isolation really is its own unique gift, is that you realize so much how it's like, it's such an individual journey, and how few people are really old souls right now. But that also means that we have, like to me, it all, like I know that Soul Tribe is on my heart for a reason. Like I know there have to be other other people out here that are on a similar mission, and we have some sort of similar resonance, that we can kind of show up for each other, I guess, in a sense. And then, yeah, you find this deep contentment within yourself and with God, and that's very beautiful in its own, because it truly becomes more and more and more this sort of inner journey that you're exploring things within, and having these little like surprise moments outside of you and stuff, but it's very like mundane in between that. But yeah, I guess that's it.